No one wants to stereotype, right? But then why can't we stop ourselves? Well, the answer may be that it's just built into us. Instinct tells animals to make constant judgments based on differences. They know that to survive, they have to stereotype predators to avoid them. Some of these fish attack some of their own kind simply because they weren't hatched in the same lake. Likewise, chimpanzees may attack chimps that are not part of their group. It makes sense in a world of survival of the fittest. Animals are hardwired to ensure that their group survives and reproduces. And while most people have stopped killing each other because of differences, psychologists say we still categorize by things like age, race, and gender because our brains are wired to do it automatically.
You need to be able to distinguish who's a friend and who's a foe. You need to understand who's a member of your pack, who's a member of a different pack.
Even those of us who believe that we don't stereotype, we do.
Yes, you do. We categorize people automatically, unconsciously, immediately, based on a person's race and based on a person's sex.
It begins in childhood. We brought together 3 groups of kids at this day camp and showed them pictures of 2 men, one Arab, the other Asian. Who do you like better, this man or this man?
The Chinese guy.
Again and again, more kids preferred the Asian man.
He looks meaner and he looks nicer. Because he looks nicer? Yeah, he does look nicer. And he has a smile on.
But both men are smiling. And what did the kids think about the personalities of the men? Let me ask, you don't know this person, but what do you think he's like?
I think he's weird.
Why is he weird?
He just doesn't look like a very nice person, no. He looks like a scary dude.
He's on the phone. What's he talking about?
Maybe a robbery?
What's he like?
He looks like a regular teenager to me.
We then showed them pictures of a black man and a white man. What were some comments about the black man?
And he looks mean. FBI most wanted. He looks weird. He looks like he's a basketball player.
So, tell me about this guy. Does he seem like a nice person?
I think he's nice. I think he's nice, except he might be mad about something.
He was probably picking up on something. This is Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh. Admittedly, the pictures are a little different. But when we ask which man is a criminal, most kids pointed to the black man. And when we asked which was a teacher, they said,
That one! The guy in the green shirt.
Which is ironic, because he's a Harvard professor. Of course, we adults claim not to have these biases, but psychologists who study stereotypes say we do. This test is supposed to capture them, to measure racial bias. It flashes pictures of white and black faces, and words like evil and nasty, plus good words like joy and wonderful, and then assesses whether you associate certain words with different races. The idea is to do it quickly so you don't have time to consciously think. The test designers say this will show whether or not you have a preference for anything. Skirts versus pants, Meg Ryan versus Julia Roberts.
Our mental processes can lead us to behave in ways, think in ways, perceive things in ways that are very different than what we expect.
We had this group of Pace University students take the test. They said they preferred Julia Roberts, and the test showed they did. But when we told them they had other biases, some got defensive. You had a bias against women having careers.
I am not biased against that.
You put down you weren't biased against anybody, but you have a moderate bias as the test against gays. This doesn't mean that you are homophobic, because what you are is what you do. But is it possible that your unconscious mind is telling you something different?
No. The test is a loaded test because it's not specifically asking you any of these questions about any group.
That's the idea.
It's asking you to press one key or another key.
But the researchers say pressing those keys shows what's really in your subconscious, with often surprising results. For example, both young and old people are overwhelmingly biased against the elderly.
You wouldn't expect that old people would think that old is bad, but in fact, the elderly are every bit as negative about the idea of old age as much younger people are.
The researchers find about half the black people who take this test show bias against blacks.
You had a moderate bias against black people.
What? I don't believe that. I mean, on the test, I was going very fast.
Greenwald says many people discover they have biases they wish they didn't.
I certainly don't want to think of myself as a racist, but these things are in my head. They show up on the test.
Of course, the biases in our head are only harmful if we act on them.
The officers fired 41 bullets in a matter of seconds.
In 1999, 4 police officers shot and killed this man while he was reaching in his pocket for what they feared was a gun, but which turned out to be his wallet.
Correct decisions to shoot an armed target earn you 10 points.
Psychologists like Josh Carell study how race can affect these decisions. He's had thousands of people in America take this test. Different scenes flash across a screen. Then a person appears holding either something safe, like a cell phone, or something lethal, like a gun. The results?
They shoot very quickly when an armed target is black. They take a little bit longer to shoot when the armed target is white.
Even black people are quicker to shoot if the person is black.
White, black, Latino, Asian, again and again and again, we see this pattern of effects. Bias in the reaction times, bias in the mistakes that they make.
The test takers don't want to appear biased.
You don't want to appear that you're acting in a racist way.
There's actually some evidence that the more you're trying not to let race influence you, the more it does. And we can give them explicit instructions. Don't show bias. And they show more.
So we have these biases, but what can we do about it?
We have to keep in mind here, the subconscious is the subconscious because we cannot control it, but we can control our own actions.
Exactly, say the researchers.
If we're just aware that it exists, it gives us a chance to do something, to be vigilant, to not let our unintended biases, our implicit biases take over our behavior, which can happen unintentionally.
When 2020 returns,